If someone came up to you and asked, "Why won't you compromise? It's a relationship." Or, "Why won't you trust me a little? Why are you so stubborn?" Why do you hear, "Why won't you give up your independence for me?" Now, imagine what it's like to have earned your independence through nights when everything was falling apart and all you had was yourself, through prayers that went unanswered, through contact lists full of names, but no one to call. Imagine standing there with nothing but your own two hands to pick up the pieces and move on, because there was no other choice. And then tell me, why would you give up the version of yourself you built through that pain? I'm Jourdan Travers, a clinical psychotherapist, and today we're talking about a misunderstood topic, hyper-independence in relationships and the fears it's rooted in. Did anyone ever say to you, "You're too independent for a relationship," or "You should learn to rely on others or you'll end up alone"? They say it like it's a flaw, like it's a choice. But for some people, independence isn't just a trait, it's an identity, one that was earned. And we have research that backs this up. One of the most important studies ever done on attachment is called the Minnesota Longitudinal Study of Risk and Adaptation. It followed over 180 individuals from birth all the way into adulthood. Not for a month, not for a year, for over 30 years. And what it found was this: the way a child learns to deal with distress in their earliest years, before they even knew the word relationship, becomes the blueprint for how they will connect or struggle to connect as adults. Children who had caregivers that were emotionally available, attuned, and responsive learned, if I'm hurting, someone will come. But the children who had to cry alone, who were met with inconsistency, rejection, or emotional neglect, they learned a different role. When I'm scared, no one comes. When I need something, I'm too much. I have to handle it on my own. And here's the powerful part. Those children didn't just grow up to be independent. They grew up to be hyper-independent. They became adults who struggled to ask for help, who found vulnerability uncomfortable, who felt safer when they were in control of everything, and often stayed silent when they needed love the most. Why? Because long before they had a partner, they had a pattern, one built for survival. This study showed us something that we can't ignore. Hyper-independence isn't just a personality trait. It's an adaptation, one that began in childhood and has been protecting someone ever since. Because once you realize that no one's coming to save you, you stop being afraid. You stop being a lot of things. And when life breaks you open, you don't fall apart. No drama. You just pick up the pieces and move on. I had a patient tell me, "I won't let him move into my home. I worked hard to get it. I have my art on the walls." But that house wasn't just a house. She'd spent years working double shifts, eating cheap meals, saying no to vacations, outings, even birthdays, just to save up for the down payment. She watched her friends move in with partners for convenience, while she told herself, "I'll wait because I'll do it on my own." And she did. That house was a promise to herself. What she was really saying was, I'd never need to beg someone to stay again, that I'd never have to choose between being safe and being free. Every painting on her wall was a reminder she didn't just rebuild a life, she rebuilt herself. So when her boyfriend said, "Why won't you compromise? Why won't you let me move in?" she didn't just hear a question, she heard a threat. Because he wasn't just asking for space, he was asking for a piece of her peace. Maybe it sounds selfish, maybe it sounds cold, but when you build something from nothing, when you stitch a life back together with your bare hands, you don't just give it away because someone asks nicely. And if you let the wrong person inside, you know how easy it is to lose everything again. That's what people don't understand about hyper-independence. It's not about pride, it's about survival. Studies show that when someone grows up without consistent emotional safety, their mind learns a different way to survive stress. A 2017 study published in the journal Current Opinion in Psychology introduced the attachment diathesis-stress process model, a framework that explains how people with insecure attachment styles respond to stress in their closest relationships. The researchers studied romantic couples facing different kinds of emotional and real-world stress, and what they found was this. When pressure hit, whether it was conflict, fear of abandonment, or major life transitions like becoming parents, people with avoidant attachment styles consistently pulled away. They didn't reach for their partners. They didn't ask for help. Instead, they suppressed what they felt so they could maintain control. One study involved watching couples separate at airports. The more avoidant a person was, the less physical affection they showed. They distracted themselves, disconnected, even when their partner was visibly upset. In lab settings, the same pattern showed up again and again. Avoidant individuals under stress shut down emotionally. They didn't seek comfort. They managed their emotions by managing distance. But here's the catch. That distance, it didn't mean that they didn't care. It just meant that intimacy felt dangerous, and needing someone else felt like handing over a weapon. That's why hyperindependence doesn't always look like trauma. It looks like self-control, like having your life together. But underneath it, there's a fear. And that fear isn't that you'll get hurt. It's that if you let someone in, you'll lose the version of you that kept you safe. But here's the thing. If independence was all you ever needed, you would have stopped hoping for connection a long time ago. You didn't. And that means something. Because if you've truly stopped needing anyone, you wouldn't still be reaching, even if it's in how much you want to be understood without having to explain yourself. So no, you're not too independent for love. You're just someone who needs love to come slowly, respectfully, without trying to take anything away. And if you're the partner of someone who's like this, someone who keeps their guard up, someone who pushes you away when things get emotional, you might feel confused, rejected, or even shut out. But what you're seeing isn't disinterest, it's fear. A fear that came from years of being left, dismissed, or made to feel like a burden. And here's the important thing. This can't be fixed in one argument, one apology, or one just open up to me text. Because people can't lay bare years of self-protection in one afternoon. They can't unlearn a lifetime of carrying themselves overnight. They need time. So if you love someone who's hyper-independent, what they need from you isn't pressure, it's patience. And if you are that hyper-independent person, here's what you need to do. You have to help them see you. Not all at once, and not in a dramatic reveal, but show them what your independence really means. Show them the version you lived through. The one who picked yourself up when no one else noticed you were down. The one who never had the luxury of saying, I can't do this alone. Let them know that you're not pushing them away because you don't care. You're just trying to protect the only thing that ever kept you safe. I'm Jourdan Travers. I'm the clinical director of Awake Therapy. And if this video helped you see something more clearly, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye.